8th grade Social Studies Mastery Learning Quiz. Part 1 Multiple Choice. Directions. Choose the letter of the correct answer and mark your answer sheet. Number 1. Huey Long's Share Our Wealth program wanted to limit whose income? A. The rich. B. The poor. C. African Americans. D. Farmers. Number 2. Who explored the Louisiana Territory after Thomas Jefferson purchased it from Napoleon? A. De Soto. B. Lewis and Clark. C. Iberville. D. Natchitoches. Number 3. Who is considered the father of New Orleans? A. LaSalle. B. Marquette. C. St. Denis. D. Bienville. Number 4. Which region did the Acadians move to in Louisiana? A. The West. B. The South. C. The North. D. The Center. Number 5. Which group of people replaced men in factory and other jobs during World War II? A. Women. B. Blacks. C. Native Americans. D. Children. Number 6. Which invention helped to boost factory jobs in Louisiana during World War II? A. Jazz. B. Higgins boat. C. Atomic bomb. D. Pearl Harbor. Number 7. Which of the following does not demonstrate a positive effect of cultural diffusion? A. Passing more lenient laws for illegal immigration. B. Guaranteeing religious rights. C. The Natchez Revolt. D. Teaching foreign languages in school. Number 8. Which of the following would be an effect of Louisiana's oil industry if there was an oil embargo in Saudi Arabia? A. Louisiana oil companies can charge more for their product. B. Louisiana oil companies can charge less for their product. C. There is less demand for Louisiana oil. D. There is greater demand for Louisiana oil. Number 9. Which of the following was not a Jim Crow law? A. Races could not intermarry. B. Movie theaters were segregated by race. C. Blacks and whites attended different churches. D. Blacks had limited freedom of speech. Constructed response task. Use the 2 documents below to answer the question in the box following the documents. Document 1, Sharecroppers, 1887. Document 2, in Reconstruction-era United States, after the Civil War, 1865 to 1890, sharecropping was one of the few options for penniless ex-slaves to support themselves and their families. Sharecropping provided incentives for workers to produce a bigger harvest. It was a stage beyond simple hired labor because the sharecropper had an annual contract. Croppers were assigned a plot of land to work and in exchange owed the owner a share of the crop at the end of the season, usually 1/2. The owner provided the tools and farm animals. Farmers who owned their own mule and plow were at a higher stage and are called tenant farmers. They paid the landowner less, usually only 1/3 of each crop. In both cases, the farmer kept the produce of gardens. Sharecropping was often a raw deal for ex-slaves. They usually owed the white landowners money for extra tools and animals they used in farming their land. In addition, if there was a bad harvest one year, or if the crops were destroyed by pests, sharecroppers had to supply half the crops anyway. This meant little money left over for the sharecroppers to feed their families. In many ways, sharecropping was just as oppressive as slavery itself. It was labor-intensive, it kept Black Americans under the oppressive thumb of white landowners, and rarely did sharecroppers get out of debt. Describe the practice of sharecropping and its impact on Southern culture during the Reconstruction era. Your response should have 2 or more paragraphs. Use evidence from both documents in your response. Include facts and examples from your own knowledge of social studies. Rough draft, not scored. Final response.